Hi everyone, welcome back to the Green Kitchen and curated by Becta's meal kit number 113 for August 11th through 13th. Thanks so much for ordering this week and thanks for letting us be a part of a special celebration at home. We've got a beautiful menu for you tonight, a lot of great summery flavors, and why don't we jump ahead and get started? So we're going to save you washing a mixing bowl. Use your takeout container that has the fennel and the zucchini in it. You're going to drizzle some nice olive oil over it. This one comes out a little bit slower. You want about 1 to 1.5 tablespoons per person in there. Throw some salt. I made a little boo-boo already. We'll catch that later. Salt and pepper, and give it a little stir. And then put it on a baking sheet with parchment paper. And we're going to put this in the oven for 14 minutes in total, but first it's going to start with 10, and then we're going to throw the cherry tomatoes on top afterwards. Hey Google, set a timer for 10 minutes. Now I'm going to put it on the bottom rack of the oven because I'm also going to use the oven for our elote, which is this beautiful Mexican corn dish, which at this time of year is magnificent to have because all the great fresh local corn. We get ours from Rito Pines Farm, and it is super sweet and super delicious. All right, so let's start thinking about our main course a little bit on the protein. So you've got your duck breast, which is cooked sous vide already. You're going to do a little salt and pepper on top of both sides. Take it out of the sous vide bag and put it on some paper towel just to take the moisture out. Again, we've kind of cooked this to medium. So I'm going to season it there, and we're going to turn our stove on in order to get the pan hot. You want to preheat it to medium. So I'm going to throw it to high for just a minute while it warms up, and then I'm going to turn it down because I shouldn't say always, I sometimes overcook this when doing the meal kits. Because when I'm not doing meal kits, I don't get my duck breast cooked sous vide already to rare. So I want to sear it fast and hot and then and bake it in. But we've already done most of the cooking for you. All right, so let's think about the next stage in our appetizer. So we've got our corn, it's on some parchment paper, and I'm going to get a basting brush. Actually, you know what? I think this one is probably going to be best. So we're going to put it on a high broil. So right now the oven is at 450, and the high broil will just continue that temperature. But it's going to come all from the top. So the veg is going to be able to cook, but hopefully you guys are doing the appetizer first and the main course next and enjoying a little downtime in between. But because I'm recording a video, I don't do that. So we're going to brush the corn with mayonnaise, and we're going to broil it in the oven at 450 degrees. And then we're going to flip it over after 3 minutes. So there's quite a bit of mayo here. So make sure to give it a good brushing, anything that you can see. And if you haven't had this delicacy before, you are in for a treat. I haven't had this in Mexico. I've never been to Mexico, but I have enjoyed this a few times, and Chef Rich is a huge fan of it and has turned me on to it. So yeah, just cover off every little portion that you can see with the mayonnaise, because that'll brown it and broil it up really well and make it nice and sweet. And I love mayonnaise, I have to admit. It's actually my favorite condiment. You know, throw a burger, hot dog, just about anything, and I'm putting mayonnaise on it. Roast chicken, really good. So keep your brush nearby, because it is going to be needed when you flip the corn over. Middle rack of the oven. Hey Google, set another timer for 3 minutes.
Set a timer for 3 minutes, and that's starting now.
All right, so now this pan is nice and hot. I'm going to turn it down, fat side down. So that is going to render. You don't need any oil because it has its own fat on there. So no oil, no butter. And actually there's very little butter on here at all. just in the rice. So rice goes into a small pot. I'm going to put a little water in there, so 1 tablespoon per person, and make sure to keep the top off so that the butter, or sorry, that the water evaporates. Okay, and of course I forgot to take out the butter. So we need 1 tablespoon per person. I thought, hey, we're not doing any butter, but I forgot about the rice. So wild rice. So let's just always use unsalted butter so that you can judge how much salt is in there, because when you use salted butter, you don't really know. And plus, the only reason they use salted butter is to be able to extend the life of it. So you're not getting butter that is as fresh. Okay, butter's going in there. This guy's going to go back up to medium. Get some tongs ready for the flip. Yeah, I made a little mess with my feta. That's okay. And let's see. Let me tell you about the appetizer wine tonight. So this is a Greek wine, which we don't sell a ton of, but Greek wine is starting to make its ways to our shores a little bit more. I believe it is the home of wine, where wine first got made with Dionysus. But this is a Rhoditis Chardonnay blend, and it's glorious. The Chardonnay really comes through. It's got that lovely tropical fruits and butteriness, which is going to go great with the corn, and a lot of beautiful fresh acidity, which is also going to go great with all of the different accoutrements with the corn. Okay, so the duck breast, we've got the timer on, and it's going to tell me when we're going to flip. I need a spoon for our rice to sort of mix that around. Turn it up just a little bit. And we're going to hit it with some salt and pepper near the end. I can't wait to have the corn tonight. I am a huge corn fan, and anyway, I am keen, and this particular dish is really great. So let's get this ready on the side with a trivet so I can do the basting. Hey Google, off. Okay, so that's 2 things. The duck, which is golden brown, we're going to toss over. 1 minute left on there. And then our corn is also going to be ready for our flip. And it just kind of rolled off there, which is great. So I can baste away second side with a nail. Again, be generous with the stuff. That's where the fat and all the flavor comes from. And the other part of the mayo is that it's going to make it sticky to be able to put all of these amazing garnishes on top. I might even save a little bit for afterwards. Hey Google, set a timer for 2 minutes. Okay. So the duck is now going to go in the oven for an additional, so 5 and 3, sorry, did I get that right? So 5 minutes, then flip over additional minute, then bake in the oven for 3 minutes. Exactly. Let's see, that's got a nice little brownness. This one needs a little more rendering on that side, so I'm going to flip it over. Totally up to you though. And now I'm going to need to find some space here. Because of course I didn't put another, well, I'm going to need to move things around a little bit. Make sure to remind me to take this off broil when I'm done, because the duck wants to not broil necessarily, but it's going to be fine because it's in a warm oven. Okay, so let's talk about the red wine. This is a gorgeous red from the Douro region of Portugal. Now, Portugal was not known to have great dry red wines. Obviously, port was amazing, but they really have invested a lot in the last 20 years or so to do it. And let's see what Connor says about this. Aromatics of blueberries, blackberries, and burnt cedar, full-bodied and concentrated, but very fresh, ripe tannins, and a spicy mineral texture. The palate allows the same path as the nose, follows the same path as the nose with dark fruit, supported by hints of chocolate and vanilla. I would agree with all of that. It is delicious. That minerality with the chocolateness, the dark chocolate, not the sweet chocolate, it's a killer wine. So I hope you guys have ordered the meal kit wine pairings this week because they are really great. And by the way, did I mention our markup is like nothing? Hey, Google, off. Okay. So now, time for our cherry tomatoes to be tossed in there. Hey, Google, set a timer for 4 minutes. Hey, Google, off. All right, so now I'm going to go to baking. Get the little convection going on. Now we've got this gorgeous corn with all that beautiful mayo. Don't want to leave any of that behind because again, it is going to be the fat that sticks and brings everything together. Now there is so many delicious things. So let's start with the feta. And this is a messy dish. I'm going to let you know right now, both to make, which you've already seen me blow up the feta, but also to eat. But you got to eat it with your hands. That's the only way to do it. Okay, and then we've got our jalapenos next. For a little spice. Now, these are optional. If you guys don't like spicy, you don't have to. And I know there's some salt and pepper in there. Feta, jalapeno, shallot, cilantro. Ah, yes. We need the pepper and the salt. I was supposed to do that beforehand, but I'm sure it's not a big deal. If you have some crunchy salt like I have, then make sure to do that. And if you're going to dip, make sure to add some salt on the side on the plate. Now the crispy shallots are next. You can sort of crumble those. And then we've got the cilantro. If it's too big, you can rip them up like I'm about to do. But wait till the end because that's where the aromatics get lost is if you rip them up too soon. So that's why we're sending whole pieces. My wife loves cilantro, but I know some of you out there are not big fans of cilantro. And so, again, all of these things are optional. Okay, all of that. That's the tremolo for the main course. And then finally, we've got the lime wedge. So I'm going to cheat a little bit here. I'm going to squeeze lime on both, but I am going to put a lime wedge on our picture one because it just adds to the fun. So this is our elote with cilantro, crispy shallots, lime, jalapeno, feta, and lots of delicious mayonnaise. Okay, our duck is done. Probably a little more than done. Mix our rice. So we're going to rest this. It's supposed to be rested for 5 minutes, but we'll see what happens because of the video. I don't want to keep you guys around while I'm just yabbering away. Now I can move all of this stuff. So I might be slicing mine just a little bit early. Keep it up, or I can just have another glass of wine and cut the video in half, which is probably what I'm going to do. Rice is looking good. Don't forget to season it with salt and pepper. I'm going to do that now before I forget. Give it a little stir. Turn that down because it's now fully warmed. Hey Google, off. So I'm going to pause the video now and pick it up in a couple minutes when my duck is rested. And we are back. Thanks for that little pause while our duck rested. And I forgot that we've got our dessert to do. It is a super simple dessert. We've got a s'mores tart. So that goes into a bowl or on a plate. And then we've got the graham cracker crumble. And you can just dust it all over the place. And it's going to be fabulous. These are totally a taste of summer. Our little s'mores tart, graham cracker crumble. All right, so let's go ahead and plate the main course now. Now that my duck has rested, and I had another couple sips of wine. So the wild rice goes down in the center. I'm a huge fan of this, by the way. And what a very Canadian summery dish. Let's get it all in there. Okay, next up is our veg. I've turned the oven off. I kept it in there to keep it a little warm. Now, if you like me, and like a little extra olive oil fat on there, go for it. Don't forget some seasoning. And the veg is just going to be placed on top of the wild rice. And of course, try to do it in such a way that all the colors come through. And in terms of resting duck, and this is good for resting all proteins, any meats that you cook, the juices will all go to the outside when it's cooking, and you want them to come on back in so that it is nice and tender and all of the juices don't go all over the place. So that is why we rest. You can rest a little bit longer. So it takes a little bit of heat out of the dish with the protein, but it is so much better in the final result. So we've got our duck breast. The secret to this, and I feel like I'm a bit of a duck pro, is to cut it fat side down. Now you want to cut it on the short side, and you want to slice it as thinly as possible. Because that makes it extra tender. And you can use your hands as well. And then on the outside, just flip the duck piece and line it up nicely so that you see the nice redness. And go right there. And fan it out a little bit because you're going to season it with salt and pepper. And that allows the salt and pepper to get inside a little bit more. I'm very grateful for all your emails, by the way. I've gotten a couple of really nice ones this week saying, you know, we learned so much about cooking from you and finishing. And I hope you like it as much as I enjoy doing it. This one little piece is a little, just not the perfect cut. There we go. Gotta make it look pretty. Okay. And then the tremula, make sure to give it a stir. This has like 16 different ingredients, from garlic and lemon, a little bit of anchovy, a little chef swoosh right there. Get a little of the wild rice. There we go. That's looking good. I'll leave a little tremula for my wife and son. Oh yeah, I forgot to season. Salt and pepper so that it gets right in there. Voila, our beautiful smoked Rougy Farm duck breast, done with the roasted fennel, zucchini, cherry tomatoes, wild rice, and chermoula sauce for dipping the duck in. I hope you love your meal, and thanks so much for ordering this week, and thanks for letting us be a part again of a special celebration at home. Cheers.